Hey everyone, welcome back to Cuddy's bookshelf. So today is reading wrap up day and I have read 23 books this month. So I am going to get straight into it and do it as fast as I can because there is a massive stack. So the first ones I'm going to start, there's going to be in any order as well, it's not the order I read them in. So the first ones were the Crescent City books, which is House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath. It is about Bryce, who witnessed a murder, and then 2 years later it happens again, and she gets assigned a fallen angel called Hunt Athalar, and they try and figure out who's doing these murders. It's really, really good. This was a reread. Really enjoyed it. It was a 5-star last time, remains a 5-star. This one, so it's still like a 4-star, but the only gripes that I had was, yes, I get that like Bryce is like sassy and stuff, but the amount of times they mentioned her like with her manicured nails and like being all, this is what I imagine when they say it, like being all sass and like blowing on her nails and whatever, the amount of times they mentioned her freaking manicured nails in this book, and I was just like, okay, I get it, she's sassy, like why, just why? So that was a bit of annoying, but the thing that happened at the end, certain people that arise and makes me really excited for the next one. So yeah, the next ones that I read, there was 4 Treasures of the Sky. This was heartbreaking and I really enjoyed it. I would say it was about a 4-star. So this is about a girl who is kidnapped from China and is brought to America. It involves like the sex trafficking, like sex working. It was really good, like heartbreaking, but really good. The next one is The House of Sorrow and Stars by Beth Cartwright. This was so good. I really enjoyed this. This was very atmospheric. I loved it. Was so, I think I actually made some notes. Yeah, I did. I was like, I love the lyrical way this book is written. It is like reading poetry, and it makes it's so atmospheric and creepy. And then one of the lines that I really loved, when opened the door until the shadows met, and I was like, I just really loved the way Beth wrote this, and I really enjoyed it. It's about a girl who is invited to the House of Sorrow and Stars, and when she's there, she realises the house is for people's sorrows. So if they have had a loss in their life, and people come to get over their losses, and it's a really sweet story, and I really enjoyed it. So the next one is Unraveller by Frances Hardinge. This is a place where curses are real. People can place curses on people, and it is about a lad that can unravel these curses. He slowly peels them apart, starting from the person that actually cast the curse and figuring out how the person can do better, which makes the curse break. And it was really nice. There was a good little twist in it. I'd say about 3 stars. A lot of it's like gone out of my mind already. So the next book I was quite disappointed about, because I was really looking, and I've got some really nice editions of this as well, but I was really looking forward to reading it. And it is Gallant by V.U. Schwab, and I mean, like, I've got this edition and then I've got another one, and they're both really beautiful, and I was hoping to really love this book, but I don't know, I just didn't vibe well with it. It was okay, it was good, it was written well and everything, but I don't know, I just didn't love it as much. I don't know if I was putting like high expectations on it, because I have read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I really enjoyed that. This is about Olivia. She is currently at the start, she's in a girls' home. She has no mother, no father. She doesn't know much about any of them, and she is mute. And so the only things keeping her company are the ghouls that she sees around the school and her mother's diary that is left behind, and it is full of turmoil and what she sees as a woman mentally breaking down. And then she receives a letter from her uncle that she's never met, inviting her to go to his house, which is called Gallant. And once she gets there, loads of things unravel, and yeah, I did really enjoy the writing, but to say how short it is, I got a little bit bored. So, next one, I'm Widow. I wasn't the biggest fan of this. I thought I was going to really enjoy it, but I did enjoy the main heroine in this. She's fierce, and she finds out things that will change the course of the way they do things in this book, which is absolutely amazing, because there is these big robot things that fly about, and they use them to defeat enemies across the wall, and they are the only males are allowed to pilot, and they always have a female as a co-pilot, and that's the way it's always been. And she sort of breaks the boundaries and the rules of that, and that bit is like really, really good. I'll say about 3 stars. Next one, Sebastian de Castell, The Tales of the Greatcoats. I really enjoyed these short stories. Really enjoyed this. Loved being back with some of the characters. I really enjoyed the first and last one, where you get to see a bit of Falkiel Valmont's like sort of like a catch up with his life and what the struggles that he's facing, and I just really, really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I got to this one, and that would be a 5 stars. Thank you, Mr. Sebastian de Castell. So the next one, I got to Orange Volume 2. This is a manga. I really, really enjoyed the first one, and I love this one just as much. This is about a girl who gets sent a letter from herself from 10 years in the future. Then she thinks that someone's like, surely not, but then things in the letter start happening, and it is to save a transfer student that's just started. He is expected to deal with a terrible fate, and she has got to change how his future will turn out. And this is so cute, and I really can't wait to get to the Orange the Future, and then Orange One for You, one you like my love, the new one, number 4. Anyway, but really, really great, really highly recommend, 5 stars. Then there's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I did enjoy this. There was some bits in it where I was like predicting what was going to happen. So she would put herself in these dangerous situations, and you just knew that it's like if she was, for instance, this is not part of the book, so no spoilers, but like if she was hid somewhere, you knew that someone that wasn't supposed to find her would walk in the room, then become thingy, leave the room, so she'll get away with it, and then she'll sneak back out again. And it's like, you knew that she was going to get away with it. Like, you knew that she was going to get into like a heartbeat situation, like, oh, will they find me? And then they don't. And she seems to be able to get information from like the police in her investigations and stuff, like quite easily. And I'm like, I didn't know that you could do that easily. But then so yeah, there's that. But then I did really enjoy the ending, the little twist in it, and it was an easy read. and I can see why loads of people like it, because I do love a murder mystery type book. But so this is about Pippa, who for her school project she has chose to do it on the subject of Ada Bell, who is a girl who was murdered. Everyone knows she was murdered. It was a big thing in their town, and they all believe that this man called Salsing, well, this lad called Salsing did it. And she goes in thinking that every time she's interacted with Salsing, he has been a really lovely person. So she is trying to like debunk everything that's been to like fruition on the murder case, and it goes from there. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So the next one, The House in the Cerulean Sea, T.J. Klune. This is such a good book. I loved this. It's so, the story is just so sweet. And I get where people was coming from, because when I looked at reviews, they said it was like a middle grade, but for adults. And you do get that whimsical, cozy feeling when you're reading it. I really, really adored this. So this is about Linus Barker, who he works in the Department of Change for Magical Youth. So he goes to like boarding schools and stuff like that that house children with magical abilities, and make sure that they're being looked after, if the place needs closing down or not. And then he gets told to go to a school on a island by the Cerulean Sea, and there is 6 extremely dangerous children there, and he has got to go in, stick to the rules of what he has been taught by his workplace, and do an observation to see if this place needs closing down, if the kids are actually able to learn, and or if they are actually dangerous to society. And it goes from there, and oh, the children. All the children. I want to go to the house in the Cerulean Sea. It's so sweet. But 5 stars, highly recommend. If you have not, by some reason, have not read that yet, go and read it. So good, so good. So the next one is a poetry and readings collection for funerals. I know it sounds very morbid, by Julia Watson, but I had a loss in my family, immediate family, and this really helped. And I did actually write one of the poems down from this and put it in a card to one of my other family members as a grieving but heartwarming sentiment. And I really enjoyed this. It's very thin. I did cry a lot reading it, but obviously with things that's going on in the family, that is why. So the next poetry collection that I read was Lang Live the Lullabies collection. Really, really enjoyed this one. This is one of my favourites of hers. Sat and read this with a cup of tea, and I was just taken away by the poetry, and it was just so lovely. I think where I read it and the contents of it, it was just a lovely experience. If you have not read any poetry by Lang Live yet, please do so. I've pretty much had at least one of her books on my wrap-ups since I started YouTube. So the next book, You Have Reached Sam by Justin Teo, and I sobbed. So you know from the beginning that in this romance one of them has passed away, but then she gets a phone call and it's him on the other end of the phone. So you're already starting off and you know it's gonna like be upsetting, heartbreaking, etc. But the last two chapters of this book, I cried. If you haven't seen my 24-hour of reading vlog, you will see that I was crying, like snot, everything. I was crying, and it was so good. If you want a book that will bring out all your emotions, have a read of that, because obviously it was 5 stars for me, because I think if a book is good enough to get a strong reaction out of you, it's got to be 5 stars. The next one, Claire Geegan's Foster. This is such a short book, but so impactful. The way that relationships and everything is built in this, and the hope and the heartbreak that draws people together is just amazing. I really enjoyed it, because I didn't know how much I would get into it with how short it. I mean, it is tiny, but it packs such a good punch. Oh my goodness. And I have ordered some other books by Claire Keegan now, because I already have, what is it? What's it on here? Yeah, I already have Small Things Like These, so I'm really hoping to get to that soon. But yeah, so this is about a girl who is taken to stay with her aunt and uncle, while her mother, she has got a quite a big family, and her mother is having another child. So while her mother has the baby and everything, she goes to stay with her aunt and uncle, and it's just very good. Read it. The next one, I finally read my first Emily Henry book. This was Book Lovers. I really enjoyed this. I'm so glad that I got round to this one. It's an enemies to lovers vibe, and it is about Nora, who is a very hardworking agent for publishers, and she ends up working with her work nemesis, which is Charlie, and they bump into each other in a place where they was not expecting to see each other, and it goes from there. Love a good enemies to lovers. Really enjoyed Emily Henry. I'm hoping to get to Happy Place next month, so yeah. The Keeper of Lost Things. I found this very boring. It nearly put me in a slump, and I could not wait. I was debating whether to DNF it, but because it's not overly long, I thought I would just finish it. It didn't get any better. It is about a man who has kept things that he's found over the years, and he passes away and leaves it all to what's her name? His assistant Laura, who didn't know that he had this thing in his office where he's got all these things that he's trying to find the people that they originally belonged to. And he gives her this task upon passing away, that she needs to find all the things that are lost and give them back to people. I liked the concept of it. That's why I picked it up, but I just didn't care, and I do think I will end up unhauling this, because yeah. So the next one, I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I enjoyed this. I don't think it deserves as much hype as it's got. I mean, it was okay, but I liked the unravelling at the end, like when you find out everything. It was okay. It's got a lot of like heartbreaking things in there. It did like make me feel sorry for certain people, and you question like, why are you behaving like this? Why can't you do this? I did enjoy the forbidden romance of it, and the agreement, friends with benefits trope that always ends up going to shit, doesn't it? But yeah, it was really enjoyable. I'll still give it 4 stars, but it's not my the best thing since sliced bread. I'm so good at rating books, aren't I? Another one. To say that I've had a lot of really good 5-star reads this month, there has been also a lot of the Keeper of Lost Things. I would have gave like a star, 2 stars at most. Wasn't really for me. So the next one is The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. So this is, I'll tell you about the first one because I don't want to give spoilers. This is a series following the Thursday Murder Club, which is a 4 people OAPs in a retirement village that get together every Thursday to solve cold cases, unsolved murders. They get together, and this one is a little bit different to the others. It has got something that's happening directly to one of them, and I did enjoy it, not as much as the rest. I mean, the first one is still my favourite, but I will continue reading this series because I do love the characters. I like to go back to them, but I don't think this one is the best that there has been. So the next one is The No-Show by Beth O'Leary. This was such a good romance. Beth O'Leary's books I absolutely adore. She always does an amazing job, and this was no different. So this is about 3 females that all 3 get stood up by the same man, and oh, the twists and turns of this book. Oh, it's so good. With romances, I tend to like try and go in as blind as I can. So as soon as I've got recommended a book, I don't want to know anything else about it. I will buy it, and then when I pick it up, I like to go into it blind, and this was such a good book to do that with, because I was like, oh yeah, he's a dick. And then you're like, oh, hold on, wait. Oh, wait. Yeah. No. Hold on. So good. So good. Honestly, if you have not read any Beth O'Leary books at all, please do so. But give this one a read. I loved it. So the next ones are the 1 and 2 of a trilogy, and the first one is Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I really enjoyed these. The story behind this is I accidentally brought 2 of these. So I gave one to my friend at work, and she read it before me, and she immediately picked up the second one, read that straight after. I pre-ordered the second one just because with reviews and stuff I thought I was really going to enjoy the series anyway, so I did pick them both up. I have already got the third one on pre-order, and she is so hyped about this, the third book coming, and I was like, I need to catch up, I need to read them, I need to get on the train with her for this, and I am so glad I did. I really enjoyed both of these, very much so. So this one goes on a girl who is forced to see the love of her life is soon to be married to her sister. So she goes to the Prince of Hearts to beg for him to somehow stop this wedding from happening, because he is her true love, and she asks the Prince of Hearts for help with stopping this wedding, and in doing so she promised him 3 kisses to whoever he chooses, whenever he chooses. And so she agrees, and it goes from there, and it's just really good. I really love the Prince of Hearts. It's just great. The last book I've got to show you that I read was Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. This one I really enjoyed. So this is about a girl who, her mother is an addict, and she has basically had to fight for her survival since she was very young. And her mum passes away, and she has to ring her biological father to see if she can live with him for a while. and it goes from there. And while she's at this beach house where her father lives, she meets a boy called Samuel, and it's a very, very good story. I really enjoyed the twists, and Samuel is very secretive, and you think, well, why is he doing that? And I was shook when I realised when a certain thing happens, and I was like, oh, because I knew he was something about him, like a bit shady and that, but very, very good. And I really enjoyed the ending as well, because true love can go for anything. Fact. If I do say so myself. That is the 23 books that I read last month, and there's been some amazing books this month that I read. Some top 5-star reads. There has been some really ones that I did not gel well with, some that I'm really good at that I didn't gel well with, some that I'm just literally gonna put it on the unhaul pile because it was not for me. But generally I'm very, very excited about like the follow-ons to some of them, and I just can't wait. Just can't wait. I just get too excited. Too excited. So yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this wrap up. I hope that you've managed to have a really good reading month also. Let me know if you've read any of these or if any of them's on your TBR. I hope that you are doing well. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more from me, please subscribe, and hoping that I'll see you on my next video. Bye! Itchy ear, itchy ear. Why can't I get my words out? Oh, hit my son in the face. By TJ Clune. I was gonna say it right. Wait for the car to go past. It is. So the next one is the bullet back. Haven't. Oh, my days. I'm hot. Oh my god, hot flush. Oh. So the next one is Beth O'Leary's The Bloody Flat Show. That's because I've just mentioned it. With a romance. So this is about 3 women that get oh, what's the word? Stood up. Loved this romance. Beth O'Leary always hits it on the nail for me. The head on the nail. Nail on the head. Any like too many what's the words? Like I tend the once upon I wanted to say once a future witches, then I'm like not even in the same. Ugh. I exited bought slow down. So the love the Prince of Hearts is him. So the last book that I read, and the last book of the haul, oh for fuck's sake. So damn.